Social shit, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's some social shit for everyone, you know what I'm saying? Like, I made this be myself, so hear me. Woo! I mean, like, we can put all that clown shit away. There's some real shit for you. I'm spazzing right now, so listen, let's go. Yeah. It's in their bones, the thugs in harmony for the love of the money. Then fall victim for the cookie, then turn pussy, it's lonely. You said you hold it down when life get rough, we're here now, so show me. We move them losses to them wins. Heavy pounds, we make it ends meet. Converse with only few who make me feel like I be 10 feet.
What's going on, people? We are back in the building. I hope everybody is doing well. Hope everybody is blessed, guys. Make sure you do hit that like button and subscribe to the channel if you are new to GTV. So today we are here to take a look at a player who is in absolute red hot form, and that is Barcelona's Raphinha. Now, Raphinha has had an absolute turnaround at Barcelona. Originally, of course, signing from Leeds United, where his displays for the English club, you know, it alerted quite a lot of the top teams around Europe, and Barcelona were the lucky recipients of that, and they were able to sign him. He was absolutely phenomenal in the Premier League, you know, whilst he was here for Leeds United. You could tell that he was always going to move on. He had to move on to bigger and better things, of course, playing for the Brazil national side and things like that. You could always tell that this was a very, very good player, but how good he was going to become was always a question mark, of course, and especially moving to a club like Barcelona. Now, let's fast forward to this season, and this season, at the time of this video, he has played 30 games, scored 22 goals, and has got himself 11 assists under the new Barcelona manager, Hansi Flick. He has been in absolute red hot form. His performances this season have been excellent. He's captained the side to victories against teams like Bayern Munich, against teams like Real Madrid. He has played, you know, phenomenally well. He has been absolutely top quality this season, and it does seem like he has just gone up a level under Hansi Flick. I don't know what it is, but for some reason he does look like a player that is just on this complete demon time, to be honest with you. But hey, you know, it wasn't always like this, you know, under Xavi, especially towards the end of Xavi's reign at Barcelona. You know, it was kind of a strenuous relationship that the two actually had. You know, Raphinha's actually come out and said he always had a feeling under Xavi that, you know, in the 60th minute, he'd always be coming off. So 15 minutes after halftime, he knew he'd probably have to come off the pitch and, you know, he'd be substituted out for somebody else. And, you know, that's never, ever a good relationship. That's never ever going to be, you know, something that a player wants to hear, or not even wants to hear, but wants to feel, you know, about their manager, you know, under those kind of working conditions, you know, feeling that, you know what, it doesn't probably really matter what I do unless I probably score a hat-trick in the game. It's more than likely that I'm going to have to come off the pitch, you know, at 60 minutes, and, you know, there's still half an hour left of a game. So if we are losing, you know, I can't even help to facilitate, you know, getting the team the victory and, you know, helping my teammates. You know, I always know I'm going to come off. And to me, that probably felt like for him that the manager doesn't really have that confidence in me. He was, of course, a part of the squad that won the La Liga title, you know, under Xavi. But again, you know, it just always felt like maybe it wasn't the right signing. And we know with Barcelona, you know, recently, you know, in recent times, in recent history, you know, they've just made poor signing after poor signing. And if I'm being totally honest, I know a lot of people probably thought that this was probably another one. And with Lamine Yamal coming through the ranks and some other young players coming through, it probably felt like it was time, you know, for someone like Raphinha to maybe headway. Maybe, you know, he's had his years at Barcelona. He's won a La Liga title. You know, he can, you know, sign off, you know, with a smile. Thank you very much for allowing me to play for one of the biggest clubs in world football. So, you know, we can move on. Barcelona get some money for him, get him off the wage books, etc., etc. But to be honest with you, they're probably thinking they're lucky stars that they did actually keep him, because the form that he has been on this season especially is absolutely incredible. Now, as you guys can obviously see on the screen now, you know, a lot of people have been speaking again, you know, about the fact that he's playing under Hansi Flick. You know, Flick is giving him a lot more a lot more freedom, if I'm being honest with you, in those forward areas, giving him a bit more license to roam, and it seems like he's giving him a bit more trust, in my personal opinion, the way I've kind of looked at the performances of Raphinha, the kind of, you know, the, would I say, the mantle he's kind of taken up as, you know, that being someone who's a bit more of a leader within the squad. Obviously, as I mentioned, you know, he's 28 years of age, so, you know, he is one of the elder players, so to speak, in quite a young Barcelona squad that includes, you know, the likes of people like Lamine Yamal, you know, Casado, Gavi, Pedri, Balde, you know, people of that kind of ilk who are relatively young, you know, in terms of football. But you can see with his heat map on the screen, this is from this season, you can see these are the areas he is absolutely everywhere across that kind of forward line, in that kind of attacking midfield, left wing, right wing, sometimes, you know, playing as the furthest player forward. And I think it is that license to roam which has allowed for him to be able to put in these kind of performances. But also as well, we can't forget his partners in crime. We can't forget these two. We cannot forget Lamine Yamal and Robert Lewandowski. Those two as well have equally been, you know, fantastic this season. But I think, in my personal opinion, that Raphinha has picked them in terms of who's been the best out of that front three, you know, based upon this season. And, you know, the tandem that these guys work within is absolutely incredible. You know, the movement from all three of these players, you know, to confuse the opposition backline. You know, one of them will drop deep, whether it's Lewandowski, whether it's Lamine Yamal, you know, whether it's Raphinha. One of them will pull wide, you know, to allow the other one to run through the middle, even for someone like Dani Olmo to potentially run into the gaps, you know, that he finds in those pockets of spaces behind, in front of the defensive line. It's absolutely quite mesmerizing when you actually watch it in real time. You know, when you're looking at it, little things like this, you know, allowing someone like Balde to run on the outside, which then allows Raphinha to then come into the middle, playing almost like a second striker or attacking midfielder, you know, just behind Lewandowski. Of course, Lewandowski's up top. Dani Olmo's also next to him. So they're almost having two attacking midfielders with Lamine Yamal out on that right hand side. Of course, you can see Martinez has got the ball. Casado's going to make that run on the inside, and as I mentioned, Balde will make that run on the outside, which just fits everything together. And I think, as I mentioned before, it is this level of freedom that I believe that Hansi Flick has kind of allowed, especially for his forward line from the midfield up, or would I say from the attacking midfield up, which has obviously just blessed Barcelona this season with so many goals. And here you can even see in this shot, you know, just before that, you know, he starts off out wide initially, and, you know, Lewandowski and Dani Olmo have kind of pushed up again into the attacking midfield area, so they don't actually even have a striker there. But once that ball goes into Lewandowski, as an example, Raphinha is definitely on his bike. He can go into Martinez, he can play it back to Kubasi, who can play it out to Fort, who can then play it to Yamal. Listen, the fluidity at times when I do watch Barcelona is what I feel that Hansi Flick is doing reasonably well, is that he is trying to mix and blend the tiki-taka football, which will never ever die from their DNA, unless, you know, Hansi Flick stays there for the next 20 years and becomes this, you know, kind of messiah there. But I think for the time being, it's not going to go. So they've always got that within their DNA. You know, and a lot of these players have, of course, played under Xavi as well. So, of course, they've got that in their DNA. But he's also trying to mix it with his DNA, which is a bit more of the German style, you know, a bit more of a direct gegenpress kind of football, and, you know, more direct in terms of getting the ball from back to front. And I think that's probably one of the main reasons why someone like Raphinha has been able to get so many goals and so many assists. And you can see here also the same thing against, you know, Real Madrid, you know, in the El Clasico. You can see Raphinha moving into that attacking kind of midfield, almost becoming a striker in this situation. Pedri's also there, almost as another striker, with Lamine Yamal over there on that right-hand side. So they've now got 4v4. And one of the things I probably would say which benefits Barcelona at times, of course, for one, is the high line, being able to kind of close the pitch, but also creating these overloads. Because at this moment in time, you probably look at this and think to yourself, well, De Jong is in the middle by himself, so if Madrid do win the ball, they do have 4 players there. The problem is that no one's really looking at the players behind that midfield 4 of Real Madrid, and they've got now 4 attackers versus 4 defenders. And really and truly, Raphinha is in a bit of space there. Balde, of course, he's in a bit of space, so the ball can, of course, go out, you know, to him. Once people get into these pockets of space it becomes too much of an issue, and you will find yourself in a lot of 2v1 situations. And again, creating those overloads, whether it's on the right, whether it's in the middle, whether it's on the left hand side, doesn't really matter. That's what Barcelona seem to be quite good at, you know, this season. And I feel like Raphinha has been one of the players to really benefit from this system. Long may this continue for Raphinha. You know, as I mentioned before, you know, he's a really, really good player on his day. And I did think, you know, after a while, especially in that season under Xavi, before, you know, when Xavi did leave, I did think maybe this might be time to go. And as I mentioned, of course, Lamine Yamal, you know, coming in, you know, someone like Raphinha, you would play mostly on that right-hand side. You know, is it the changing of the guard kind of thing? And, you know, Yamal's this fantastic player. But listen, they found a space for him, and it just seems like he has really grasped the opportunity with both hands. And long may it continue. Long may it continue. Hopefully he can just really push on. And there has been a few shouts, you know, things like Ballon d'Or and things like that. I don't know. Of course, I think that's going to be more dependent on whether Barcelona can win anything this season. But listen, they're in a decent enough position to go out there and potentially win a couple of trophies this season. Second in the Champions League, third, you know, in La Liga. So who knows what might happen between now and the end of the season, but let's wait on it. But one thing's for sure, we do know, is that Raphinha is on fire. Thank you all for tuning into today's video. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section, and also let me know, do you think that Raphinha can win the Ballon d'Or? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section. I'll catch you guys on the other side. Peace.